Look at these two models of the solar system. Click on the model accepted by present scientists. No, Ptolemy's model is the ancient model of the solar system. The Earth was considered the center of the solar system then. Yes, Copernicus's model is accepted by present scientists. The Sun is the center of the solar system and not the Earth. In this unit, you are going to learn about astronomy and space exploration. To continue space exploration. Look at the design of the space colony. If the Earth is not suitable for living anymore, can we live in space? What is astronomy? Astronomy is the oldest branch of science. It is the study of natural objects in the universe, such as stars, planets, and comets. How did astronomy influence the life of people in ancient civilizations? No one knows for sure where or when astronomy began. But we know that the lives of people in ancient civilizations were closely related to the stars, planets, and comets. For example, they used astronomy in keeping a calendar to plan the harvest, guiding travelers across the deserts, oceans, or seas, predicting omen to eclipses of the sun, moon, or appearance of a star or constellations. What are the developments in the field of astronomy? Click on any of the years in the timeline to see the discoveries made in astronomy. Initially, the Earth was believed to be flat. However, Pythagoras, a Greek mathematician, stated that the Earth is a sphere. Initially, the Earth was believed to be flat. Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, suggested that the Earth was the center of the universe. This belief was held onto until the 15th century. Claudius Ptolemy, a Greek philosopher, suggested that the Earth was the center of the solar system. The Sun, the Moon, and the planets orbited around the Earth. Al-Battani was a famous Turkish astronomer and mathematician. His full name is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Jabir. He used mathematical principles in the study of astronomy. He determined the solar year as being 365 days, 5 hours, 46 minutes, and 24 seconds. Nicolaus Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, suggested that the Sun is the center of the universe. The Earth and other planets orbited around the Sun. He was the founder of modern astronomy. Johann Kepler was a German mathematician who also studied astronomy. He showed that the orbits of the planets are elliptical. He formulated 3 laws of planetary motion, named Kepler's laws. Galileo Galilei, an Italian astronomer, was the first to use a telescope to observe outer space. His invention revolutionized the astronomical observations. He discovered the 4 largest moons of Jupiter and the phases of Venus. These discoveries were the basis for Copernican cosmology, which states that the Earth is not the center of the universe. He observed sunspots and craters on the moon. These observations led him to conclude that the sun and the moon have rough and uneven surfaces. Sir Isaac Newton, an English scientist, discovered the law of gravity. He explained that the planets move in their own orbits because of the gravitational force of the sun. He combined astronomy and physics to come up with the laws of motion and theory of universal gravitation. The laws of motion and theory of universal gravitation became the basis for Kepler's laws. Until well into the 19th century, all progress in astronomy was based on Newton's work. First photographic images were developed in the late 18th century. By 1840, photographic methods involving the use of a paper negative was introduced. This technique was used to capture accurate and detailed images of the objects in the universe, thus giving us a better understanding of the universe. In the second half of the 19th century, spectroscopy is used to determine the compositions of an object in the universe. By studying the patterns of the spectral lines, the astronomer can detect the compositions of the studied object. With the construction of more powerful telescopes in observatory centers, our knowledge of the universe continues to expand. Some of these powerful telescopes are designed to receive radio, infrared, ultraviolet, gamma ray, or X-ray signals. For example, pulsar was detected by a radio telescope in 1967. These gigantic telescopes can also be fitted to computers. The computers act as data processing devices. Artificial satellites with powerful telescopes were launched to collect data of the universe and send those data back to Earth. In the second half of the 20th century, spacecrafts and a series of interplanetary probes were launched to study geology of the planets and other objects in space. For example, the Hubble Space Telescope, launched in 1990, gave a better quality visual observation. Click on the photos in sequence to see the development in space exploration. Remember this? This is our solar system. Drag and drop the names of all. Look at this picture. Look at these 2 models of the solar system. Look at the design of the space. Let's play this game. Click on the wheel to get a look at the design. The developments of astronomy discovery. Click on the photos in sequence to see the development in space exploration. Remember this? This is our solar system. Drag and drop the names of all the components. Look at these two models of the solar system. Let's play this game. Click on the wheel to look at the design of the space. Click on see the development in space exploration. Rockets were first used for celebrations by the Chinese. The fireworks rockets contain explosive chemical substances which are used as fuel to send them into the sky. Can we live in space? The answer is to see the development in space exploration. Robert Goddard, an American, was the first person to launch a rocket into outer space. The rocket escaped the pull of gravity by using liquid fuel to power it. In 1957, Sputnik 1 was the first man-made satellite launched into space by the Russians. It orbited the Earth. Later, Sputnik 2 was launched with a dog in it named Laika. Sputnik 2 was burnt on entry into the Earth's atmosphere. In 1957, Sputnik 1 was the first man-made satellite launched into space by the Russians. It orbited the Earth. Later, Sputnik 2 was launched with a dog. In 1958, a communication satellite was sent into outer space. It was to improve radio communications. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin, a Russian, became the first man to orbit the Earth in Vostok 1. He safely returned to Earth 108 minutes later. In 1969, the Americans sent 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins, to the Moon on the Apollo 11 mission. Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin were reported to be the first men to land on the Moon. Salyut 1, a Russian space station, was sent to orbit with 3 astronauts. The astronauts stayed and worked in the space station for 24 hours, but died on their way back to Earth when their spacecraft lost its air pressure. Salyut 1, a Russian space station. Skylab was the first successful space station sent to orbit by the United States of America. It consists of rooms, laboratories, telescopes, and solar panels. Astronauts performed various experiments and collected data on objects in space. Skylab was the first. Mariner 2, the first space probe, was sent to Venus by the United States of America. Between 1976 and 1989, several space probes were sent to outer space to study the Moon and other planets in the solar system. These space probes sent photographs and data of other planets back to Earth. Mariner 2, the first. The Space Shuttle is the world's first reusable spacecraft and the first spacecraft in history that can carry large satellites both to and from orbit. Columbia was the first space shuttle to be delivered to NASA's Kennedy Space Center, Florida, but was lost during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Discovery was the first successful space shuttle to be launched into space. Challenger exploded 73 seconds after takeoff in January 1986. Looking at a clear sky during the night, you can see these. It's the constellation. Look at these two models of the solar system. Look at the design of. Let's play this game. Click on the wheel to look at the design of the space colony. Can we live in space? Mariner 2, the first space probe, was sent to Venus by the United States of America. Between 1976 and 1989, several space probes were sent to outer space to study the Moon and other planets in the solar system. These space probes sent photographs and data of other planets back to Earth. The Space Shuttle is the world's first reusable spacecraft and the first spacecraft in history that can carry large satellites both to and from orbit. Columbia was the first space shuttle to be delivered to NASA's Kennedy Space Center, Florida. The Space Shuttle is the world's first reusable. The International Space Station, sponsored by 16 nations, was launched in the year 2000. It is planned to be completed by the year 2006. The International Space Station will be used for medical research for the research into human health, high-performance materials for the research on high-strength materials in microgravity conditions, resource management for the research and development on temperature and water management and recycling systems, communications for the development of new polymers to be used in computer semiconductors, space research for the development of robotic systems to increase human efficiency. Can we live in space? The answer is yes, we can. Under favorable conditions, these space colonies can accommodate thousands of people. These space colonies orbit on their own axis, forming artificial gravity. Most of the area in this very big cylinder can be used for agriculture. The big mirror is used to reflect light from the sun for energy and agriculture. The space shuttle must provide an atmosphere similar to the Earth's. Liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen are carried on board to create this atmosphere. This atmosphere is circulated and recycled. Water is made from liquid oxygen and hydrogen in the space shuttle's fuel cells. The water can be recycled. Let's play this game. Click on the wheel to get a Skylab was the first space station sent to orbit by the Russians. Click true or false. That is correct. Skylab was the first space station sent to orbit by the United States of America. Yuri Gagarin was the first man to orbit the Earth. Click true. That is correct. Yuri Gagarin was the first man to orbit the Earth. The developments in the field of astronomy are: the ancient world studied astronomy for practical reasons. Greek astronomers tried to explain the objects in space. The Sun is the center of the solar system. The planets have elliptical orbits. The gravitational force of the Sun keeps the planets in their orbits. The introductions of photography, spectroscopy, and powerful telescope have revolutionized astronomy. The developments in space exploration are: a rocket was launched into outer space. Man-made satellites were sent to explore outer space. An astronaut orbited the Earth. An American probe was sent to Venus. An American astronaut made the first step on the Moon. Space stations were sent into orbit. An American Space Shuttle was successfully launched into outer space. The International Space Station was launched in the year 2000. A man in Beijing, China, calls his wife in Malaysia through his cellular phone. How is his call transmitted? Technology developed for space exploration is widely used in everyday life. Artificial satellite is one of the technologies used in space exploration. Generally, artificial satellites are equipped with remote sensors. This remote sensing technology is used in various areas such as scientific research, communications, meteorology, navigation, surveying, military. The first satellites were used to study the Earth's atmosphere, but today, satellites study a far greater range of objects in space. Earth-orbiting satellite observatories can observe celestial objects without the interference caused by the Earth's atmosphere. For example, the International Ultraviolet Explorer studied small astronomical objects in space like the small stony asteroid. Artificial satellites have been used mainly for long-distance communication. Telephone companies, cable television stations, newspapers, and magazines use communications satellites to transmit data to various parts of the globe. Intelsat, a group of satellites, forms an international satellite communication system. Video conferencing is one such example which uses Intelsat. Meteorological satellites use highly sensitive instruments to obtain data about temperature, wind, pressure, air composition, and clouds in the atmosphere. These data are fed to computers, which will then generate atmosphere models. The atmosphere models are the basis of modern weather forecasting. The World Meteorological Organization uses internationally operated satellites. Using laser beam signals from satellites, the exact locations of a ship can be calculated. The signals emitted are so powerful that two objects of 2.5 centimeters apart can be detected. The device that is used for determining the object is called Global Positioning System (GPS) receiver. The GPS receiver uses at least 3 of the 24 satellites orbiting Earth. The techniques used by navigation satellites are also used to make accurate maps of remote areas on Earth. The United States Landsat system provides data to ground stations around the world. Geologists and other specialists use this data for mineral exploration, crop forecasting, flood control, soil conservation, reforestation, and land management. Satellites are also used for spying and collecting information on a country's military strength. The United States Big Bird and Soviet Cosmos satellites took photographs of other nations' military activities. They can also record radio and radar transmissions. In the late 20th century, both the United States and the Soviet Union tried to design satellites that can destroy enemy spacecrafts, satellites, and distant targets, such as enemy nuclear missiles. The cameras of today uses the technologies developed for spaceships and satellites. These cameras can produce very sharp color photographs immediately. Solar panels comprising of solar cells are first developed for spaceships. They are then widely used to operate satellites. Solar cells are also used in electronic gadgets. Why do we need to continue space exploration? Click on the pictures to find out. Space exploration enables us to learn more about the universe and natural phenomena in space. The applications of technology related to space exploration have enabled us to improve our quality of life. The applications of technology related to space exploration have contributed to the progress of mankind. Future potential space technology impact on our lives is promising. The thoughts of living in space, visiting the moon and planets, and extracting metals from celestial bodies are logical and practical. How is a cellular phone call transmitted? When the man makes a call, the phone sends a signal to the satellite. Then it is passed to the local phone network in Malaysia. The local phone network directs the call to his wife. Click on the correct photographs to match the given description. The techniques used by navigation satellites are also used to make accurate maps of remote areas. Click true or false. That is correct. The techniques used by navigation satellites are also used to make accurate maps of remote areas. The applications of technology related to space exploration have not contributed to the progress of mankind. That is correct. The applications of technology related to space exploration have contributed to the progress of mankind. Some of the examples of the technology used in astronomy and space exploration are remote sensing technology in the fields of scientific research, communications, meteorology, navigation, surveying, and military. Production of better gadgets for electronic industry and better photography techniques with sharp color images. Manufacturing technology of alloy and medicine under vacuum. We need to continue space exploration because it enables us to learn more about the universe and natural phenomena in space environment. The applications of technology related to space exploration have enabled us to improve our quality of life and contributed to the progress of mankind. Future potential space technology impact on our life is promising. Which astronomer suggested that the Sun is the center of the solar system? Click on the correct answer. That is correct. Copernicus suggested that the Sun is the center of the solar system. Which of the following shows the correct sequence in the development of space exploration? Click on. That is correct. The correct sequence in the development of space exploration is rocket, probe, space station, and space shuttle. Which of the following is used in remote sensing? Click on the correct answer. That is correct. Artificial satellite is used in remote sensing. Satellites are sent into orbit to help us in various fields. Which of the following are some of the uses of a satellite? Click on the correct answer. That is not correct. Try again. That is correct. Some of the uses of a satellite are monitoring soil condition for agriculture, enabling instant telecommunication, providing aerial photographs for military purposes, and mapping of underground water resources. Why do we need to continue space exploration? Click on the correct answer. That is correct. Space exploration enables us to learn about the universe, improves the quality of our lives, and contributes to the progress of mankind, and to move to other planets in the universe. Click on one of the questions to see the answer. The developments in the field of astronomy are: ancient Egypt, Babylon, China, and India studied astronomy for practical reasons. Greek astronomers like Aristotle, Pythagoras, and Ptolemy tried to explain the objects in space. Copernicus suggested that the Sun is the center of the solar system, and later confirmed by Galileo. Kepler showed that the planets have elliptical orbits. Isaac Newton explained the gravitational force of the Sun keeps the planets in their orbits. The introduction of photography, spectroscopy, and powerful telescope have revolutionized astronomy. The developments in space exploration are: Rockets were first used by the Chinese. Robert Goddard was the first to launch a rocket into outer space. Man-made satellites such as Sputnik and Explorer were sent to explore outer space. Yuri Gagarin became the first man to orbit the Earth. Mariner 2, the first American probe, was sent to Venus. Neil Armstrong was the first man to step on the moon. Salyut, Russian, and later Skylab, American, are space stations sent into orbit. Discovery was the first American space shuttle to be launched successfully. The International Space Station was launched in the year 2000. Some of the examples of technology used in astronomy and space exploration are remote sensing technology in the fields of scientific research, communications, meteorology, navigation, surveying, and military. Manufacturing technology of alloy and medicine under vacuum. Production of better gadgets for electronic industry. Better photography techniques that can produce very sharp color images. We need to continue space exploration because space exploration enables us to learn more about the universe and natural phenomena in space. The applications of technology related to space exploration have enabled us to improve our quality of life and contributed to the progress of mankind. Future potential space technology impact on our life is promising. Would you like to be an astronaut? Find out more about the life of an astronaut. How many satellites have been launched by Malaysia? What are the satellites used for?